Hey there, so in this quick video, I'm basically going to run through how to make a converting welcome flow for e-commerce brands, specifically email marketing. In this video, I'm going to go over the tech setup that you should do, kind of like the outline of the flow, overarching strategy, some key points to consider, as well as like examples for each of the emails within the flow. So yeah, let's dive into it. Firstly, so the trigger is just going to be when someone signs up or joins X list, wherever the lists that your pop-up and embedded forms are linked to. Then on email one, you're going to give them a discount. So this is going to be based on your branding and type of consumer. So if you have a heavy TikTok brand as an example, or like, people are coming from short form content, chances are they have a lower attention span. So you want it to be a one clicker. A one clicker example is going to be like this. You just give the offer, tap here to activate, and then burger menu underneath. If it's like, for example, a health brand, even if it is short form content, they're going to need more information because, they're taking something to solve an ailment or improve their life in like a dramatic way, right? So this one is going to be more of a long form one. A side note here as well, you always want to base the length of your emails, how much copy and objection handling you've got, on the conversion rate of your website. So if you've got a really high conversion rate, you just want to get them there. And then if you've got a lower conversion rate, you want to do a bit more lifting and warming with the email. Another note, so some people put a trigger where it's placed order over 0 times. The only caveat to that being is how you want your email set up. So if, for example, you only want the discount to apply on like an acquisition standpoint, so like getting their first order, you'd want to exclude or put a filter within this flow to say placed order 0 times. And they only come in. And then you'd have to do the same thing with your pop-ups. But if you would like to acquire people in your email system, and especially if you've got like a fast moving like goods brand, i.e. like supplements, pouches, coffee, clothing, email is going to be a really useful channel for you to retarget them on. So you want that pop-up to be to everyone that's not in your Klaviyo or whatever your ESP is, just to get their email so you can have another touch point. So after this, you want to put like a 3-day delay, and you want to base have they purchased or not purchased. Actually, in terms of a delay, one side note, so we usually use 3 days, but that's because we usually send a campaign every 3 days. So how you want this structured is basically the amount of times that you send a campaign, you want to like get them to keep opening in that frequency. So on the buyer side of things, it's really simple. And another reason to include buyers, this is like an indoctrination wing. So you want to keep mailing people in the welcome flow, just brand story things, and just getting them around the ecosystem. Reason being, again, it's indoctrination. So if they're good emails, they're going to want to keep opening them. And then by the time that they've used their product, etc., you're going to be able to, they're going to be warmed up to your campaigns, basically. So for a brand story style email, especially on the buyer wing, you don't really want too many buttons, like one button at the bottom and then the burger menu. But yeah, you just want this to kind of give context on the brand and give them a bit of a, just backstory and build a bit of a relationship. That's the whole goal of it. Then you're going to want to go to a social media push, which is just, get into their YouTube or whatever. Then we'll come back to this end bit, but you basically want to time the wait until the end of the post-purchase flows, and I'll go to the reason for that after. Same with the non-buyer, 3-day delay. Then if you have multiple SKUs, you're going to want to go collection-based email, i.e. a meat brand here. Reasons they may be shopping, so for parties and events, for families, for date nights, for grill kings and queens. The reason you want to do this is because if you have a quiz set up, you can base it based on segments, i.e. if they're only shopping for poultry, you could do a poultry collection. If they're shopping for X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. But even with a quiz setup, and especially for a brand like meat, people may sign up for chicken in the first place, and then, they've ordered some chicken, or they haven't ordered chicken, now they want beef, right? So with these ones, you kind of want to keep it a bit wide and just, get them to to go to different collections like that. And then if it's like a single based SKU store, you want to move your brand story here instead. And then with the brand story, you'd make it a bit more built for conversions, i.e. like a button above the fold, and then maybe some products underneath. So then you're going to want to go into the FAQ email. So the main goal of this email is to handle objections. You want to base the bullets and the points of the email on the frequency of questions asked from your customer support. So this isn't going to be based on, the normal FAQs on the website, which are just general ones. You want to actually use what the customer's asking about. And when I say that, I mean outside of the normal, where's my delivery and things of that nature. It's going to be like, for example, this is for rival boxing. It's going to be like, what's the difference between your gloves and other people's gloves? Should I use gloves for sparring and bag work? Things of that nature, just, handle the objections. And then this is for a quiz one. That's what it says, for amateurs. Anyone that answers amateurs basically goes down this flow. But yeah, you're going to want to have like a dynamic product image here, which is just based on popular, collections like bestsellers. Then you're going to want to do a 3-day delay and do a testimonial style breakdown. So the caveat of this is if you're running a health brand or something that's going to have high skepticism, you're going to want to have the social proof earlier. Or like your mechanism earlier. But as an example of like a testimonial style email, always with a testimonial style emails, I like using the headline as like a review. Like reason being, it's the way they speak. People are going to resonate with it as, they're part of that group. So yeah, basically on that. And then you're going to want to put the brand story here afterwards if that caveat isn't there, as well as the one above with the single store SKUs, which will be the same as the rival one. 3-day delay. And then at this point, you've handled most of the objections. You've handled reasons they may not be purchasing with you. So then you want to go into reasons outside of like buying from your brand. So an example here is like a recipe one for a meat brand, right? So most of the people that are going to be shopping here are either shopping for events or they're foodies. So you kind of want to tick out both of the boxes and build desire outside of that. Another example could be if you had a gym brand, you could do like, what split are you hitting today? And then you have for legs, equipment for legs, and like a walkthrough on best exercises. Arms, like triceps, you could do like, 3 tricep exercises, then like plug resistant bands and so on and so forth. And then after that, you have 2 ways you can take this, or 3 actually. So you can put a social media like ecosystem style flow type email. The reason being, once they've gone through all of these, it just adds another touch point if they haven't converted, i.e., you're just opening up another channel. Or you can go over drip flow, and you want to go over drip flow on the buyer side of things. So a drip flow is your highest performing campaigns. So ones you're sending singular campaigns, not flows, and campaigns that aren't seasonal, basically evergreen campaigns, so nothing seasonal or sale related. And the reason why is you want to give them your best performing emails, ones that resonate the most, and you don't want to stack too many, maybe 2 emails. And then after that, they go straight into your campaigns. So they've been engaging the whole way along, and then they get the best campaigns, and then they go straight into campaigns. And then that way, they're primed and warmed to basically keep opening your emails. As when you're sending campaigns, you want to add filters or tags on people to stop them. If they're in key flows, you don't want to mail them while they're in a flow and then mail them with a campaign, right? So it'll basically do a lot of lifting there for you. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you run an e-commerce brand doing over $50,000 a month, feel free to click the link in the description. I'll give you a free Klaviyo audit or whatever ESP you're using, and just a step-by-step walkthrough on how you can add an extra bit of cash to that. So yeah, look forward to speaking, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.